I was lying in bed and could not fall asleep no matter what. It was already way past midnight, but I kept tossing and turning from side to side, staring at the dark ceiling. An oppressive silence filled the room, disturbed only by the ticking of the wall clock. Tomorrow, there would be a very important math test that I was completely unprepared for. I had spent the entire evening mindlessly scrolling the internet and social media, flipping through the endless news feed and getting stuck on various sites. Not all teenagers think about their studies, constantly getting distracted by all kinds of nonsense. I was like that too, carefree and frivolous. But now, thinking about tomorrow, I gradually began to close my eyes and drift off to sleep. Suddenly, the obnoxious ringtone of my cell phone went off. Startled and instantly awake, I reached under my pillow for the phone. Taking it out, I looked at the screen. The number was hidden, and instead of the caller ID, it said, "Unknown." Hesitantly, I picked up the call with a trembling hand. After a short pause, a hoarse, barely audible female voice said, "Leave me alone." I was confused and asked, "Who is this?" "You have the wrong number." The only response was silence and long beeps indicating the call had ended. I looked at my phone screen in bewilderment. The number was indeed unidentified and hidden. Who could it be? What a strange night call. I tried calling back, but got a message that the number was unavailable. Deciding it was just a mistake or prank, I put the phone back on the nightstand. I tried to go back to sleep, wrapping myself in a blanket. But sleep wouldn't come. Thoughts about the call kept me awake. And literally a minute later, I got another call from the same number. With a trembling hand, I grabbed the phone from the nightstand and looked at the screen. Again that unknown number. I started feeling really uneasy about these night calls. To avoid further distraction, I simply turned off my phone until morning. But the next day, the story repeated itself. The strange woman kept calling me persistently, both day and night. I couldn't stand it anymore. I trembled with nerves every time the phone rang. I tried to explain to this woman that she clearly had the wrong number, but she just remained silent. What did she want, and why was she stalking me with her calls? This mystery tormented me. I couldn't stand these constant calls from an unknown number, but I hadn't told my mom yet, didn't want to worry her over nothing. I had already added this cursed number to my blacklist many times, but it was useless. The harassment continued. A few agonizing days passed by in tension and fear. And then one late evening before bed, when I was already lying down, I received a summons from that unknown number saying, "Don't peep." I dropped the phone in horror. Goosebumps ran down my skin from the fear that gripped me. I looked around, feeling like someone was watching me right now from a dark corner of the room. Outside, it was a dark, moonless night. My mom was working a night shift, and I was home alone. Suddenly, I heard the creak of the front door opening. Someone else had entered our apartment. Terrified, I froze in bed, not knowing what to do. My adrenaline was through the roof from fear. Deciding to pretend I was asleep, I closed my eyes and evened out my breathing. Someone quietly, stepping noiselessly like a cat, came into the hallway and cautiously on tiptoes, headed towards my room. My heart was ready to jump out of my chest. The stranger came right up to my bed and stopped. I could feel their attentive, studying gaze fixed upon me. Thoughts raced through my head as I desperately tried to maintain the illusion of deep sleep. I carefully opened my eyes a little, but in the dark I could only make out an indistinct figure by the door. Barely holding back a scream, I squeezed my eyes shut and froze. Words cannot describe this feeling. It seemed like otherworldly forces had entered my room. There was a chill, and I caught a faint smell of burning. After several tense minutes of waiting in the dark silence, my phone pitifully beeped again, alerting me of a new message. With a trembling hand, I took it out from under my pillow. It was yet another summons from that same unknown number. I told you not to peep. Reading this, I barely held back a scream of horror and shock. My heart was pounding like crazy and seemed about to stop at any moment. In a panic, I curled up under the blanket, but couldn't fall asleep. Thoughts swarmed in my head, and fear paralyzed my whole body. Only towards morning did I somehow manage to drift into uneasy sleep. This girl never woke up again. The doctors pronounced her death from cardiac arrest. 3 days later, her phone received one final summons from that creature. Sorry, wrong number.